Hello every pony and welcome to My Little Pony What Works. I'm your humble host, the voice of reason, and in this new series we'll be looking at the new episodes of Friendship is Magic as they air on the hub. But what better way to start than looking at the Season 3 premiere, The Crystal Empire. Now this series is going to be rated based on my acronym STEM. S stands for story, which includes characterization and story structure. T stands for technicals, which includes animation, art style, and the music. E stands for entertainment value, which is humor and overall investment in the episode. And M pretty much stands for moral and how well it translates with the story. So let's get started with S. After 1,000 years, the Crystal Empire in the Arctic region of Equestria has finally returned. Celestia explains the importance of the Crystal Empire to Twilight.
1,000 years ago, King Sombra, a unicorn whose heart was black as night, took over the Crystal Empire. He was ultimately overthrown, turned to shadow, and banished to the ice of the Arctic North. But not before he was able to put a curse upon the Empire. A curse that caused it to vanish into thin air. If the Empire is filled with hope and love, those things are reflected across all of Equestria. If hatred and fear take hold,
Celestia says if Twilight manages to pass this test, she'll move on to the next level of studies. What are other studies? Well, we'll wait for that in the upcoming episodes, most likely with Magic Duel. The story of this episode has a good pace in the beginning, but kind of slows towards the end. Each act I can describe as follows. Twilight receives the task to go to the Crystal Empire. Twilight and her friends reach the Empire and begin to gather information on the Crystal Ponies. Twilight sets up the Crystal Fair, with Sombra's presence emerging, ending part 1. Twilight is on her search to find the Crystal Heart, with Sombra's threat even larger. And that's pretty much it. I only say the pacing is kind of slow because there is an actual threat that keeps the ponies on their hooves the entire time. This actually is an improvement from Return of Harmony when everyone was in Discord mode for part 2, so props to the writing staff here. However, like in Return of Harmony and the Candlelight Wedding, it ends on an anticlimax. An incredibly goofy anticlimax. And I can describe it in 4 words. Shining armor throws cadence. Shining armor throws cadence. Okay, I'm calling it. This is where My Little Pony officially jumped the shark. Now, on characterization, the characters aren't given much to do. The second part has Cadence and Shining Armor sidelined, and the rest of the main 6 are in charge of keeping the spirits of the Crystal Pony side. It's all Twilight and Spike for the rest of the premiere, and they do develop their characters. Spike is given the recognition he deserves in the Candlelight Castle, and Celestia and Luna hint there is something much bigger in store for Twilight. Now on to the big disappointment, King Sombra. There was a lot of potential with this character. While Nightmare Moon was a pony ruler fueled by jealousy, Discord was the living embodiment of chaos, and Queen Chrysalis was a manipulator with an army, King Sombra was a monstrous tyrant. And you really felt the monster part of his character from the fear instilled on the Crystal Ponies. But the tyrant part is severely lacking. We don't know why he enslaved the Empire to begin with, or how he thwarted the rule of the original Queen. The fear of him is there, but why we fear him is a mystery to the audience. Which, unfortunately, just makes him a puff of smoke. Literally. The technical side in this episode is hit or miss. With the animation and art style, it is a huge hit. Every time I watch this series, I see the animation improving over time. Season 1 was a blank slate in the animation department. Season 2 improved in camera movement, as with the dam scene in Mare-Duel, and the Fluttershy head turn and putting her hoof down. This episode pulled out all the stops as if it were an animated movie. From close-up shots, to running scenes, to the castle scene where Twilight's hair is blowing in the wind, a lot of effort was put into the ponies' movements. As for the art style, the design of the Crystal Ponies is very unique, with the ponies themselves almost seeming translucent in crystal mode. Sombra, on the other hand, looks like one of those really bad OC ponies. No offense, guys. But what really took me by surprise was the use of shadow. In fact, shadow is the overall theme in this episode. The lighting in the Candlelight Castle, the darkness that Sombra casts over the Crystal Empire. Hell, Sombra is Spanish for shadow. Nice touch by the storyboards. The music score is quite ambient, almost soothing at times when the Crystal Empire is mentioned. The songs, on the other hand, are quite weak. The Failure Success song, I won't say it's evil Enchantress bad, but it's so many wonders dull. I mean, I find it catchy. However, that reprise came out of nowhere in the end. I will say this, the Ballad of the Crystal Ponies is quite good. And is it just me, or does it remind anyone of Some Nights by Fun? There is a lot of entertainment value to go around in this episode. The humor is always spot on with Megan McCarthy's writing. The two ponies I was always laughing with were Pinkie Pie and Rarity. In fact, those two are best and second best ponies in my eyes. Pinkie Pie is always doing something random and full of jest, while Rarity has fun overreacting to the whole Crystal Empire thing. Plus, it's nice to see Shining Armor and Cadence poke fun at how this is the second time the fate of Equestria was in their hooves. As for investment, I actually was on the edge of my seat. Despite not knowing what to fear from Sombra, I knew it would be dark and terrible. In addition, Twilight was on a time limit, unlike the Season 2 premiere. Thus, we needed Twilight to succeed and fast. The moral of this episode is a really good twist. The entirety of the episode was hinting at Twilight alone will assist Cadence in protecting the Crystal Empire. At the end of the episode, however, she gets caught in Sombra's trap. It was at this point she realized she needed Spike to deliver the heart at the bottom of the castle. At first, you would think this is a letdown because of all the buildup for Twilight to save the day. However, Twilight learned about self-sacrifice in the end because she knew the fate of the Empire was more important than her test to save it on her own. Alright, let's do a quick recap. The story, while intriguing and keeping the audience at attention, is severely lacking. Whether it's plot holes that can be easily solved, or the fact that the second part was just Return of Harmony Part 2 on a time limit, the story falls short. The characters are their default personas, and the fact that Sombra was upstaged by a door in terms of scariness doesn't help. The animation art design is beautiful and keeps on improving with each episode. The musical score follows along with the ambient animation, but the songs are forgettable at worst. The humor is what keeps this episode from being average, once again Megan McCarthy's strong point. The moral is a brilliant twist and leaves the audience with hopes for Twilight's future. As a result, I give the Crystal Empire a final score of 2.5 out of 4. It's worth a watch if not for the animation, comedy, and moral alone. Next time, I'll be looking at Too Many Pinkies. Wish me luck.
Yeah, I knew everything was gonna be fine.